What's up, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the Allen Powell Show Wednesday night. Got a locked and loaded show for you tonight. The NBA season is coming down to the end. We still got jockeying for position in the NBA in the standings. Jontay Porter possibly could be permanently banned from the NBA for betting. Congratulations to the South Carolina women's team, the Uconn men's team. Got a great come to church scripture for you today. And I got a day in the life of Al. And when I was watching the show, some things were said, and I want to know what is too far. So with all that being said, let's get ready to lock and load, people, and have a great show.
Lock and load, Allen Powell. It's the Allen Powell Show. Where we lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Powell Show. Where we lock and load. Come on. It's the Allen Powell Show. Where we lock and load. It's the Allen Powell Show. Where we lock and load. Come on.
We are back on a Wednesday night, getting ready to talk some NBA basketball with you. They're coming down to the end of the regular season. We still got some jacket to position. I got my guy B. Brian coming in the building. Thank you for joining, brother.
Thank you for having me. For sure, man. Yes, sir.
I want to get right into it, man. We got some games going on tonight, and seeding is still up for grabs, play-in spots, and all those different things. So I want to get right into it, man. I got some questions about a few teams, and I want your opinion. Everybody who's watching, y'all share the live. Y'all people can see it. Y'all comment, and we will put the comments up and address your comments. I want to get straight to the Eastern Conference, man. We see Boston locked up the number 1 seed already. Milwaukee has locked up the playoff spot. I believe they locked up the number 2 seed already, even though they're only a game above New York going into tonight. I think they have the tiebreaker, so I think that's why they clinched number 2 already. But from 3 on down, it's still some jockeying for position, and I just want to know about certain teams. So as we look down, we know New York got injuries with Randall, who's going to be out for the season, but Brunson is still playing at an MVP type level. And Anunoby, I don't know his status, but they got the 3 seed right now. Orlando, young squad. Paolo out there doing his thing. They got the 4 seed right now. For me, I'm looking at number 5 and 6, and number 6, Indiana. They're a fun team to watch. I don't want to see them in the 6th spot though. I would rather them playing a play-in game because I feel like they are more of a college team, or like they more exciting for the play-in because they more like a college style for me. With Embiid coming back, I would like to see Embiid and Philly in the number 6 spot and Indiana in the 7th spot to just give somebody some hell in the play-in game. We got Chicago and Atlanta down there, man. This is Chicago region that we're in and cover Chicago sports, but I ain't nothing to look forward to with these Chicago Bulls. But just based on these standings, what are you looking forward to as far as playoff positioning and just possible matchups that could be going on from these standings?
Oh man, well, definitely. I just want to see if Boston is gonna actually put it together. That's probably my thing. Are they gonna be able to carry their regular season success over into the postseason and finish this thing out strong? This might be the best chances, if ever, for them to win it all. As far as, like you say, once we get past 3, it's really just it's up for grabs. It seems to me. I don't think Orlando's a real threat. I don't think Cleveland's a real threat to winning it. So I would like to see Miami and Philly move up some so they could play some of those big dogs earlier in the rounds. You know what I mean? See what Embiid got. See if Jimmy Buckets can be playoff Jimmy and do what he do. As far as Chicago, man, I'm mad that we keep finding ourselves in these type of positions, and we got a roster that should be up there in that 4, 5, 6 seed, and not to play in. In my opinion.
Right.
But that's about it. I mean, it's the East is kind of underwhelming at times, so it's I'm just I'm looking for the big dogs to be the big dogs, and that's Milwaukee, Boston, and maybe New York. See what they got going for real.
I got a question about. I was talking with somebody earlier today, and I asked them, "Who do you got coming out the Eastern Conference?" and he was in between Boston and Milwaukee. And as far as the Eastern Conference go, then I asked who's going to win it all, and I think he picked the Suns, which I disagree with, but I understand, they do got a big three. But when it comes to the Eastern Conference, one thing I said about Boston, even though they favorites to probably come out the East, as far as them winning it all, something is missing, man. Like for me, like I believe Drew Holiday and Porzingis was good pickups, but something is missing as far as them winning it all. Can they get to the finals? Yes. But if they play Denver, they're not beating Denver, in my opinion. They're not beating Denver. Can they beat some other teams in the West? Possibly, yes. But for me, Tatum and Brown supposed to be the 1 and 2. Then Porzingis and Drew Holiday, and Derek White is a nice fit as well. But for me, a superstar player, I was telling my guy this. When it comes to superstars, when it comes to Jokic in Denver, I know exactly what I'm going to get for him in the playoffs all the time. When it comes to Jason Tatum, he's hit or miss. He's supposed to be a superstar. You're supposed to be able to count on him in the playoffs every game. In the playoffs. If you're a superstar, we're supposed to be able to count on you every game. And I'm just looking at past playoffs and even some big regular season games. Sometimes, he just don't show up, and that's my knock with Boston and Brown as well. Brown, we know we can't depend on Porzingis. He's never been a superstar caliber player where we can say, oh, we know what we're going to get from him. And Drew Holiday is a solid glue piece. So it's up to Brown and Tatum to do what they're supposed to do as a 1 and 2 option. Am I wrong for saying what I'm saying about Tatum, about he's hit or miss as a superstar?
If you would have said this maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I'd have looked crazy into this mic, into the screen. But he seems more Zach LaVine than Kobe Bean. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm at with it. I was just having that conversation too. Tatum is not with the hype, the media around him. He's not living up to certain expectations that we would have for a guy like that. As far as Jaylen Brown, I have never really been a real fan of him to the point to give him $300 million or however much they gave him, and I've heard he still can't go left. So there are some flaws on that team, but those guys are what I call streaky shooters. So if they get hot and they stay hot, they're gonna be a handful. But any of those ups and downs moments, then we can see them get bounced, relatively soon. Those two guys don't bring their A game, from tip off.
I want to ask you about as far as teams competing against Boston as well. Boston is the favorite, and as I'm looking at the standings, I look at possible teams that can give them trouble or possibly knocking them out. Is there anybody that can compete with Boston? And then, if I'm looking at the seedings right now, let's just say that let's say Philly stays in a 7th seed, 7th seed. They beat Miami in the play-in, or even Miami beat Philly. Does either one of those teams give Boston any trouble in the first round?
Both of them. I would probably say.
And I mean, hold on, my bad. And I meant them stay in the 8th seed because whoever wins actually going to play the 7th seed. And I will also ask you, if either one of them teams playing the 7th, do Philly or Miami give Milwaukee and Boston any problems in the first round?
If Milwaukee doesn't have Giannis, then yeah, who's gonna handle Embiid for 7 games? So then I go to Boston. Porzingis was a nice addition, but he's never been a rim protector, a banger. So you get somebody like Embiid to go down there and work him out in the post. I can see Porzingis missing a few games after dealing with some of those elbows and things like that. So I think if anything, it would be Philly. And I don't know what Miami's doing down there. They lost Lowry, and I don't know if they got what it takes to really threaten for the championship. So I would probably stay with the Philly thing for me, just because Embiid is really a superstar, and we know what he is. But other than that, yeah, I don't see anybody really in that bottom half. Maybe Indiana. Indiana plays well together. They young, dumb, they got energy. So I think there'll be a problem for anybody in the playoffs. They scrappy and they long, they lengthy. So But my thing again would be Embiid. Embiid against anybody, I think he's gonna give anybody problems.
We got Armand Armstead checking in from Facebook. Played the 9 holes of golf with this brother earlier. He says Embiid stays healthy, Philly will be a problem. Milwaukee is toast without Giannis. Doc is trash. Listen, a few things to talk about with them comments. Embiid stays healthy, he's definitely going to be Philly definitely going to be a problem because I look at that team, bro. Maxey is a dog to me. I like Maxey. Tobias Harris is still a solid third option. I think, man, if Philly wouldn't have got if Embiid wouldn't have got hurt, we know they would have been in the top 3 or 4 seeding wise. And I think Embiid is still on a quest to get a championship, so he's definitely going to be motivated and to dominate in either one of those series. So I definitely think he's going to be a problem. Milwaukee is toast without Giannis. I think we all know that. He said Doc is trash. Listen, Doc is definitely got some pressure on him with his playoff records in the past, losing leads and listen. Remember, they got rid of Adrian Griffin to bring him in because he has championship pedigree, championship experience. So they're looking to win a championship with Doc Rivers, and so he says Doc is trash based on a previous playoff series. That's not a bad take. I also want to say this: if Milwaukee plays Miami in a first round, let's say Miami get to the 7th seed and Milwaukee plays Miami, we know that they got knocked out. Milwaukee got knocked out by Miami in the first round. Was it last year? And so I wonder, will Miami be in Milwaukee's head now? Because that was a big upset in the first round, and we know Miami Heat culture. Even though they're down at the bottom of the conference, when it comes to playoff, Eric Spoelstra has championship pedigree. Playoff Jimmy, Adebayo, they have a nice squad, and so I will be very intrigued by that series. What do you think about that?
Yeah. We spoke on Miami earlier this season. I didn't expect them to fall. Be in the 8th seed at this point of the season. So, yeah, I definitely think without Giannis, I don't know if Dame Lillard and the supporting cast has enough to fight with a team like Miami. I don't know. You know what I mean? I think Miami has chemistry. They've been the same group for the past few years. So, they're going to give anybody problems. This is the time. If that's the case, we need to see Dame time. He got to step up, and he got to be that guy that he's been all these years, and he got to keep his shit going in the right direction until Giannis gets back. Right. If not, Miami going to bust that ass.
Armand Onset says they too inconsistent. Miami. I will say this: that they are inconsistent, but I will say when the playoffs, that's another season. You can watch the playoff season out the window. It's a whole new season. You got to play a team 4 out of 7 times. It's a whole different ball game. So even though they might have been inconsistent in the regular season, you're not playing different teams. So you got to play this one team 4 out of 7 times, and you're going to get tired of teams. You're going to find out their tendencies, and if you put Spoelstra against anybody in this conference, he has the coaching the coaching lead over any of these coaches. Look at these coaches, Brian. You tell me if I'm wrong. Is he better than Mazzulla in Boston? I would say yes. Mazzulla's still young, still getting his feet wet. Is he better than Doc Rivers? That would be a challenging, but I could argue to say Spoelstra is better than Doc. Then you got Thibodeau. Spoelstra will top Thibodeau. Then you got a young coach in Orlando. You got Cleveland, Indiana, Rick Carlisle. I like Rick Carlisle, but he don't got the team. I think that could be a wash. And so I'm looking at these coaches. What coach is better than Spoelstra in the Eastern Conference?
That's a tough. Billy Donovan. No, I'm just kidding. But no. Other than Doc, with the resume, Thibodeau. Tibbs always been a great coach. He just but management with players' minutes has been a problem for him. But so Spoelstra's been doing it longer. He's won more. Hey, he with the same team. It speaks volumes. So he probably is the best coach currently in the Eastern Conference.
Okay, so we got the Eastern Conference out the way. He said Donovan what? It was a joke, man. He was trolling. He was trolling with it. Really Donovan, he's terrible. Matter of fact, before we move on to the Western Conference, will you watch the play-in game with the Bulls and the Hawks? Will you watch that game, or will you watch it?
I'm a tune in. It depends on how it goes, how long I stay tuned in. But
Right.
I'm a big Kobe White fan, so I'm a big DeMar DeRozan fan. So to see those guys with an opportunity to do something, I want to see what they got. I want to see what they got.
That's a good point. Kobe White. I will be intrigued to see what Kobe do in the playoffs because he got an opportunity to win a Most Improved Player, and to see will he be in the playoffs. That would be something to watch. Armstead said just to watch Murray cook. Dejounte Murray. Yeah. Hey, listen, man. I think a lot of people gonna pick Atlanta to beat the Bulls. But I'm gonna have on my Bulls gear, man, and then I'm gonna roll with my squad, man. And we should hopefully we'll be at the crib. And matter of fact, man, if my funds are right, I might try to go watch that game because it's gonna be like a playoff atmosphere. You know what I'm saying? So I might go check that out. I might have to try to get tickets if the funds allow. I want to get to the Western Conference real quick, man, because the Western Conference to me will be the most intriguing to watch. All these teams is like wide open. Besides, to me, I think Denver got the best opportunity to win the West. But it's a lot of storylines built into the Western Conference, and we got question marks at the top. I mean, Minnesota and Denver are tied for number one right now. I believe Minnesota needs the number one seed more than Denver does. But how do you feel about Minnesota with that young player? I mean, Cat is injured right now, but he's presumed to come back. And Naz Reid has been filling in nicely. I like Naz Reid as a player, but what do you think Minnesota as a squad, man? Do you think they will win a first-round matchup, or because of the matchups that could potentially be made in that first round, that they're going to get bounced?
I mean, look, man, I like that dude, Anthony Edwards, man. I really think that dude is the future of the league. It depends on who they play, like you say, but they got everything that you need. They got the scoring at the two. They got the interior defense. They got the height. They got a savvy veteran point guard. I mean, they got enough to win a first round playoff. Who would they potentially play? Phoenix or San?
It's looking like the Lakers of Golden State. Minnesota, if they get the number one seed, they will play the Lakers of not possibly the Lakers of Golden State or possibly Sacramento. So those three teams can be the eighth seed.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. That's gonna be a tough matchup, but I will say yes because I really do like Anthony Edwards and the way that he plays the game. I'm rooting for him, so I think I'm a little biased. He remind me of Mike at times. Yeah. I think I think Minnesota. I know they're a piece away, but I think they have enough currently to beat some of those old heads in the Lakers or the Golden State Warriors. I think they can. The Lakers look like they in turmoil. Golden State look like they in a similar type of we rebuilding, but we still got veteran guys that we're loyal to. So I don't know. I think that young team got enough energy they can go ahead and take a win from one of these veterans, man.
Listen, man, I think if Minnesota stay in the number one seed, man, they're gonna have an uphill battle with whoever they face in the first round. Am I rooting for Anthony Edwards? Yes. But if we thinking about it, we know how the NBA is run, how ratings are ranked on TV and all that. We gotta factor all of that in. Look, we got Golden State, we got possibly Steph, LeBron, or KD in the first against Minnesota or Denver. If Minnesota plays one of those teams with that star power, I think I would give the edge to Minnesota over Sacramento. That's it in the first round. Other than them other three teams, it's gonna be a rough one because LeBron, we know they're gonna be a problem if they they got with the experience that they have. Golden State, we know the experience they have, the championship pedigree, and Phoenix, man, got a big three. And so if they face any of those squads in the first round, Minnesota, and listen, even if they fall to number two, they're going to get one of those teams. They better hope for Sacramento. I think that's their best bet. And Sacramento is not no pushover either, but I believe they have a better chance against Sacramento. Armand Arce said, if my squad is healthy, we're going to be a problem. He's a Lakers fan. I hope they get put out in the play-in game. I ain't gonna lie to you. I won't go to state to beat them in the play-in game. Just go get LeBron out of here early, and then go ahead and worry about his son off season or whatever they gonna do. But, I mean, the playoffs, the play-in game is gonna be off the chain. Golden in LA. I mean, Adam Silver couldn't ask for a better play-in situation with the star power. The ratings going to be off the chain even for that game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So we got Eugene Wakefield checking in on YouTube. Wardell not going away. Steph Curry right there. So I'm predicting I'm projecting he's going with Golden State in the play-in game. And listen, I would love for LeBron to go home in a play-in game. But I want to go through a couple of seedings. So we got, I would say, between 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All of those are still up for grabs. We still got some jacking for position. I would like to see. I would like to see Phoenix move up, and I would say the Pelicans playing the play-in. I'm like, man, listen, it's too many stars potentially could be sent home in a play-in situation, and I know how the league is ran. They want that star power in the playoffs. You know, we heard too many stories from other players talk about how some of the stuff is rigged. You know, you get certain foul calls going certain ways. I mean, if you ever looked at the discrepancy between the Lakers free throw shooting and other teams, man, bro, they up by a long shot. I'm not saying that that stuff is rigged because they play a different style. They don't shoot all them threes like everybody else. But I remember watching the Lakers against Sacramento one year when Vlade Divac, Chris Webber, Bibby, Stojakovic, they was going against the Lakers, man. And I think Donaghy in jail right now for making phantom calls in the playoffs. But we know that it's possible that it can happen. And so what I'm saying is when it comes to these superstars, man, I think it's going to be tough for Minnesota. And I think that they want the superstars in the playoffs. Now, if the standards remain the same with Phoenix, LA, and Golden State, and you got KD, Steph, LeBron all in the play-in situation, only two out of the three can make it to the playoffs. And so if I think I think they're going to have to settle for whatever two it is, but only 2 out of the 3 can make it. So that's why I think Phoenix, the NBA would love for Phoenix to move up to number 6 and you know have New Orleans playing a play-in situation, but I don't know what it's gonna look like. But I will say this: looking at the playoff seeding and looking at the playoffs matchup scenarios, which team at the bottom do you feel have the best chance to upset some of the teams at the top? Between the playing teams at the bottom here, whoever they play in the first round between Minnesota, Denver, and OKC is still only a game behind, so they still got a chance to move up too. Which one of those teams you think is favored in the first round?
It would have to be the Lakers. You know, I haven't seen what's going on with Golden State much this year. I know Clay trying to get back, so I know that LeBron is healthy, AD is still healthy, D'Angelo Russell been balling. I think they this is the same pretty much roster that won a championship minus the White. So you know, I think the Lakers probably be the toughest out, followed by Golden State. If Phoenix, of course, if Phoenix is in the play-in, then that would be them two for me, LA and Phoenix. But I mean, this standings is showing me that the old heads is on their way out the league, man. Like it's just a young man's game, bro. Like it's the top of each of these divisions is it might be a veteran on the team, but they got young superstars, young talent, you know, that's in that 1, 2, and 3, in that big 3. It's a young superstar in there. So, you know, looking at these Golden States and Phoenixes and LAs, this might be their last hoorah. You know, so you're going to get they all, whoever plays them.
That's a great point, man, because I remember this actually happening with Denver the last couple of seasons. They were young at first. I remember they had a number 1 seed, and they got put out early. and then eventually they overcame, and then they won a championship. But they was young at the time, and so I
Mm-hmm.
think for these older teams, I think this is their last hurrah. This is their last swan song. Like after this season, it's a wash. They are done. But
Mm-hmm.
I think they got. I think LA and Golden State got one last push in them, and I think Phoenix, even though they're a little long in the tooth, they got the big three, and I think they got a little bit more stand power. But for Golden State and LA, this is definitely their last hurrah. The dynasty from Golden State is over after this year. They're gonna have to retool and change some stuff up. But and then Lakers for sure. This is they LeBron ain't getting no younger, man. It's starting to show a little bit. Armand Armstead says, Al, why the hate, bro? He talking about hating on the Lakers. Look, man, he know I don't like the Lakers, man. You know I don't like the Lakers. I don't like no team with LeBron on it. Yes, I said it. Yes, that's what it is. I hope he get put out in the play-in situation. Yes. I hope he go 0 for 16 shooting. All of that. Yes. And I hope he gotta and all them people that say he the GOAT, they gotta deal with all of that. Yes. Get put off in a made-up tournament. Yes. Get put out. Yes. Yes. Eugene Wakefield says Wardell and company got second best road record in NBA. I think they smell blood and some luck. Listen, let's talk about Golden State for a second because Klay Thompson is back in the starting lineup. Kuminga has been balling. They got him coming off the bench now, but they found something. They put Jackson Davis in the starting lineup, the young big who's playing well. So you got Jackson Davis, Draymond, Wiggins, Klay, and Steph. I think that's the best lineup for them defensively, and they still can produce offensively. So I think that's definitely I think that's their best lineup. Looney is old and barely can move. Kuminga still is young, can get him a spark off the bench. I would love to see them in the playoffs. Armand says if we get Gabe Vincent back and Halliburton, oh boy, he talking about the Lakers. If you depend on your season on Gabe Vincent, brother, you in for a long night in the play-in. Said don't sleep on Sacktown. Fox is a bonus with Monk. Yeah, man, I'm not sleeping on Sacktown, man. It's just like this year is not magical as last year. Last year was like, man, they was they just I think they snuck up on people.
Yeah. They
Yeah.
caught people by surprise.
Right.
Now we know what you are. We know y'all look you're a playoff contender, and
Yeah.
we're not gonna treat you like the Sacramento Kings of the past. You know what I mean? So, but they still a couple pieces away. Like that's why I just wonder, like when some of these guys are making these decisions to team up and go to a big three, like a Bradley Beal goes over there. I'm just saying a name. You go over there, you actually can be not a part of something opposed to just riding someone else's coattail to a championship. You know what I mean? So, no, I think that the league, I think this big three stuff should be done after this year. Maybe two stars and a couple, some role players, a good six man, but to have three max superstars on your team, that's not even fun. You know what I mean? Like that's just like cheating almost. You know what I'm saying? Like just give me the Scotty Mike and the Luke Longleys. You know what I'm saying? Give me the D Wade, Shaqs, and just build a team. I want to see team building opposed to people teaming up and joining teams.
Right.
So.
And I think that's one of the arguments for the GOAT conversation with LeBron, jumping to the big three, and Jordan was homegrown, built the squad up. And I think that's why a lot of people love Denver because it was homegrown. They drafted Jokic and developed him and drafted Murray and drafted Michael Porter Jr., and then they just got a veteran like Kentavious Caldwell Pope and a veteran in Aaron Gordon, some small pieces to make the team. Like you say, Sacramento is just one good veteran away from making that push.
Man, for real.
One good veteran away from making that push. So I agree with you. I think people are going to start to look at Denver and how they built their squad and probably go away from that big three and go back to building teams like that. I think you're still going to have some people that's going to still try to join. But I think for the majority, if you don't have to max out your salary cap and you can build, I think that's the new route to go for sure. Mm-hmm. I want to change gears for a second, man. I want to get to a story about Jontay Murray. Jontay Murray is on the verge of being suspended, possibly permanently banned from the NBA for betting. We seen Shohei Ohtani, his story in the MLB. You know, with his interpreter stealing money, gambling, and we seen what happened with that. But I got a question. My question is, so first of all, let me read the comments from Adam Silver, and then I got a question. These are the quotes from Adam Silver talking about Jontay Porter and possibly banning him from the NBA. Silver says, it's the cardinal sin, and I have an enormous range of discipline available to me. The ultimate extreme option I have is to ban him from the game. And when I think of banning somebody from the game, I think of Pete Rose. You know, Pete Rose got banned from baseball for life, basically, for betting on baseball. And back in those times, you know, Pete Rose, they didn't have no betting apps and all that stuff. You know, he was going to the bookies or whatever they go to, and that's how they was betting on sports. But now, in today's sports arena, we got all types of apps: DraftKings, PointsBet. The list goes on and on. It's betting apps and sites all over the place. And so Jontay Porter, you know, a no-name guy betting on sports. And I feel like, to me, Adam Silver is poking his chest out. Oh, yeah, you know, I got the option to ban him for betting. This is the cardinal sin. But my question is, if it was LeBron James that possibly was betting, you know, would Adam Silver have the same energy? Because I would say no. They would sweep it under the rug like what they doing with Shohei Ohtani, who's a superstar in the Major League Baseball. Now, I don't know if Shohei actually betted on baseball, but it seems like his interpreter's taking one for the team, possibly, because, you know, we want to keep Shohei in the limelight. He's a superstar. We don't want to mess the money up, so to speak. But Jontay Porter is a nobody. So it seemed like, oh, Adam Silver, I'm gonna poke my chest out and say it's the cardinal sin. But my question is, if it was LeBron James, do you think Adam Silver would have the same energy? Because I don't think so. What do you think?
No, I don't think so either. You know, I think the comments might be. I think we wouldn't have heard no more about it after it first came out. You know, it'd have been done. But like you say, it's an opportunity for him to punish somebody and not necessarily tarnish the reputation of the league. You know, you put something like this on LeBron, then, you know, that's the whole league that's gonna take a hit. But Jontay Porter up there in Toronto, we know him better as Michael Porter's little brother. You know what I'm saying? So you know, this would be an easy kill right here. But I'm more concerned of, did he really do it though? It's like I guess I'm more confused that a guy that's making $400,000-$500,000 a year willing to risk it all on a prop bet. Like, what is the thought behind it? How much do you stand to gain? And how much do you stand to lose? You know, even going to Calvin Ridley, Shohei, this guy, like, what is what is it that causes them to really risk their future for this, you know, a night full of pleasure type of deal? You know what I mean?
Let me give you some answers. You got questions, I got answers. So,
all right,
first of all, let me get to the comments. Our YouTuber says, does the NBA have hard evidence on Jontay, or is it just speculation and coincidence? It's still under investigation, but from the way Adam Silver is talking, it seems like he got hard evidence. That's what it seemed like. But I don't know. But I know it's still under investigation. I will say this. I was talking to my wife about it. I told her about it. She was like, you know what? The laws are made for the poor, not the rich. And NBA money-wise, Jontay Porter is poor. In our eyes, he's not poor, but NBA circles, he's poor. He's not making millions like that, you know, like superstars are making. But he's making $400-500, and if he's living beyond his means, he probably ain't got that much. So he going on that site, you know, try to give him some extra money. You know what I'm saying? And she said he's doing it because he's broke. That's why he was betting. He probably lived beyond his means. Ain't no telling.
Hey, we gotta get her on the show, man. She straight up. I think she just answered it all for real. Dang.
bro, when she said it, I said, let me write this down to make sure I say this. Because she said, I'm sure y'all probably gonna go to sleep. But I said, I'm gonna make sure I write this down because she gave me a hot take and went to sleep on me. You know what I'm saying? Take it with the sleep. But Armstead said, look, Adam Silver has been a stand-up since he took over. Yes, I think he would have the same LeBron. Yes, I think he would have gave LeBron the business. No, I don't think so, bro. You a LeBron fan, you a Lakers fan. That's a biased take right there, and I ain't buying it. He said, or any other superstar for no other reason to make a point. I have not seen him discipline no superstar harshly. Even when it came to Draymond, Draymond been smacking people all over the place for the past couple years, man. And like, bro, he gave John Morant, even John Morant, like the stuff that John Morant got in trouble for, he didn't really go hard on him like that, like he could have. Like, you know what I'm saying? He gave him a suspension, but it was only like for 20-something games. Like, even after he warned him the first time, then he done it again, and then he only suspended for 27 games. That's not even half the season. So if you look at harsh penalties, he's been lenient to the superstars, in my opinion. I think he's a player's commissioner. And so that's why I think if it was LeBron, they would try to find some way to sweep it under the rug. They would say, oh, it was one of his homies, or like Shohei, like it was his interpreter. LeBron, it was like, oh man, it was Rich Paul, or you know, it was Maverick Carter. I don't know. Anybody but LeBron, because we're not messing up that money. He's still the face of the league right now. So, you know, I just don't think he would have that same energy. So I disagree with my man Armand on that. Like, if you look at Adam Silver's history, what superstar have he come really hard on when it comes to discipline, when it comes to basketball situations? Because I can't think of one. Can you think of one, B?
No, I'm trying. But I can't think of one, man. I can't think of one.
Yeah, so for him to come out with these quotes, it's like, bro, you know, like I think even with John Morant, when he didn't come, I got the ultimate option to ban him from the game. And I think he had the option to ban John Morant for the season if he wanted to. Or, you know, for that gun situation. Even after he warned him, I believe he had the opportunity to suspend him for the whole league. Now, would it have been overboard? Possibly so. But he didn't even say that. Those words didn't even come out of his mouth. That's the point. He wasn't talking that tough when it came to John Morant. John Morant is a superstar. He could have possibly been the face of the league right now, and if he wouldn't have gotten in trouble. But he didn't want to do that because he know the potential from John Morant.
Oh, yeah.
And so Jontay Porter, like you say, this is an easy kill. This is an easy Mortal Kombat kill. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Quick fatality. You know? Sure. And so I think you made a good point, man. It's an easy kill for Jontay Porter. He's not on a superstar level. So, you know.
And he gets his point across that, hey, don't make me do it again. You know, he gets his point across. So, you know, you see somebody get a good whooping, you might, hey, I'm not going to do that this time. You know, I'm going to tread lightly. So I hope these guys learn from this, though, man, because you got way more money to earn in the NBA than on these little sites, you know, especially if you in the hole like that to the point where you got to gamble, you probably gonna lose that money anyway. You know, you might well wait for your contract to get renewed or take a loan out or something, man. You know, do it the smart way, man. Stay off them betting sites or maybe let somebody else do it, I guess, but you shouldn't be the one physically betting on the game.
Right. You gotta have a contingent plan. Like, yo, I'm gonna tell you what I want to bet. You use your name. If you win, I give you a third or whatever. You can't get caught with your hand in the cookie jar.
Nah.
I will say this: you made a great point with Adam Silver because when he does this, it makes it look like he's stern, like he's really, you know, protecting the league. You know, and he can poke his chest out with a Jontay Porter, and so and then it makes it look like, oh, the other players looking around like, oh man, you see what he done to Jontay Porter? We got to stop playing. And in real life, he's not really that dude. He's not really coming hard on superstars. So, Armand Armstead says, as long as I'm not gambling on my sport, I don't see the issue. Hey, well, you know, like I said, you know how it is, Armand, man. Whatever institution you in, whatever company you in, they got rules. And so either you can abide by the rules, brother, or take the consequences. But I understand where you're coming from. I want to move on, man. I want to say congratulations to the South Carolina women's basketball team for completing the undefeated season, man. We didn't get a chance to do a show right after they won, but I just want to acknowledge the South Carolina Gamecocks. I love Coach Don Staley. I love the women's game and what they're doing with it, man. And unlike the other teams that were in the Final Four, they didn't have the superstar star Caitlin Clark or Angel Reese and Beggar from Uconn. They did it with a good team effort, man, and they went undefeated, and they completed the undefeated season, and they didn't get as much recognition as some other players and teams like Caitlin Clark, and the whole phenomenon with her. But I want to give her just due in completing an undefeated season. Don Staley, South Carolina, they did their thing, man. Congratulations to them. I was rooting for them, and they did their thing, man. What do you think about them undefeated in the women's game?
All right, man. The women's game is evolving. I think all of the advances in the men's game has paid dividends to the women's game. The dribble moves, the step backs, the shooting. It's no longer about high flying and dunking on people. So it's a lot of skill in today's game. So I salute to them. I think we got to call Don Staley a dynasty. She doing things the dude did when he had UConn running on all cylinders. So I think it's time that people put some respect on her name and stop playing with this lady like she's not a gold medalist, like she's not I believe she's a WNBA champion, and now a 2-time national championship, if I'm not mistaken, in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Come on now. I salute to her. She did that, and she had everything she does with class, with grace, with dignity. She put God first. Man, I love this lady, man. I love this lady.
I love everything about Don Staley except her take about the transgender. I gotta bring it up real quick. She did say let the transgenders play in the women's game, and I totally disagree with her with that. But besides everything else, I love her. I even love watching her playing the WNBA. She one of the few people that had handles and was like flashy, bro. Like wasn't nobody dribbling the ball like her. Like she was out there like Jay Will out there on them, bro. Straight up. So congrats to Don Staley, South Carolina, and everything that they did, man. They did their thing, man. So congratulations to them. Austin Malone checking in says David Stern had to come down hard on cokeheads in the 80s before drugs took the league down. David Stern, he did that, but he was also a players commissioner. But I believe he was definitely more stern than Adam Silver. But I off the top of my head, I don't remember any disciplines that he had to do with superstars off the top of my head. I remember David Stern from the 90s more than the 80s because I was born in the 80s, but I didn't really get deep into basketball to the 90s. And so I don't remember any. I remember. I'm trying to remember. Was Adam Stern a commissioner when they had the Malice at the Palace? I believe he was. And he did come down pretty hard. And a quick story, I remember when that happened, I think I was listening to Knuckleheads podcast. Shout out to their podcast. I remember Jamal Tinsley, after the Malice in the Palace, came in the locker room and said, "Hey, man, you think we're going to get in trouble?" Like, but yeah, boy, yeah, you're going to get in trouble. Funny story. Armand Armstead says, Roy Tarpley. I wonder if that's one of the superstars that David Stern had to discipline back in the day. I think that's probably is. I want to move on real quick, man. I also want to congratulate the Uconn men's. They went back-to-back, man, back-to-back national championships, Uconn men. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know these players on Uconn. I just know they went back-to-back, man. And I know that's hard to do in the men's game. I'll say that for sure. Hard to do, man, but kudos to that coach. I'm pretty sure he's making a name for himself, man. And I know he basically probably going to get a nice, almost like a lifetime contract. For him, man. So kudos to Uconn men's basketball team going back to back. They did their thing, man. Dan Hurley, Coach Dan Hurley from Uconn. Yeah, thanks Armand for that. Yeah, Dan Hurley, man. He did his thing, man. Back to back. I think that's extremely hard to do in the men's game. So congrats to them for sure. Now I gotta come to church scripture for today. I actually got two. For the first time, I got two scriptures today, and it hit me because it was talking about challenges, being thankful in every situation. And a lot of people don't think about being thankful in bad situations, but it talks about being thankful even in the bad situations. And then it made me think of another scripture that kind of coincides to go with that scripture. And so first scripture is 1 Thessalonians 5:18. It says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus." And so, like I say, when it comes to give thanks in all circumstances, people usually don't think of bad situations, but it says it says all circumstances. So I say be thankful even in those circumstances. And the reason why you should be thankful is because in James 1:2 it says, "Consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of any kind, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance." So even when you're facing trials, man, that trial is going to help you in the long run, show you how strong you are. And like, no, do anybody want to go through hard times? No, but it's going to build your character and perseverance. And so I think of those two scriptures go hand in hand, and I hope that it can help people that might be going through challenges. I just think about my own life and things that I've been through. And then when you come out on the other end, it's like, dang, I made it through. And, you know, it builds perseverance. And I know, Brian, I know back, if you can look at your life, you know, things that you done made it through, is like, yo, you made it, you know what I'm saying? You made it through some tough times. And so I encourage people for people going through stuff right now or what you might go through in the future. It says, consider it pure joy whenever you face trials of any kinds, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. And I would say, if you go through anything, just give thanks. Say, God, hey, thank you. I'm thankful even for this tough time, because I know it's going to produce something good in the end. So hopefully that scripture helps you. My man Austin Malone says, solid word. Appreciate you, brother, man. And I know, listen, that brother is persevering through some stuff himself. You know, I ain't gonna put his business out there, but he went through a challenging time, and I know you progressing. I've been hearing the reports on you, brother. So continue to do that. And before we get up out of here, my battery is low, but I'm gonna try to get through it real quick. I got a day in the life of Al. I was watching Drink Champs, and I said, what's too far? And I remember Turk was on Drink Champs. This is an old Drink Champs. And when it comes to Drink Champs, man, if you know how Drink Champs go, they get you drunk and they get you drinking all over the place, and then you just start saying anything. And then in this particular moment, Turk talks about catching the STD with Lil Wayne. I think he said they caught crabs together or something. They was messing with the same girl. And I said, and then, you know, they've been talking about a Cash Money reunion for a while, but you know, Turk been in some trouble. You know, Birdman didn't mess with him, and BG didn't have some problems with him, and I don't think Lil Wayne has said talk to him since either. And I wonder, like, yo, what's too far when you telling stories? You know, you got to be careful when you're on Drink Champs, man, because this dude gets on Drink Champs, man, and get all drunk, and then you say some stuff you probably shouldn't have said. You probably should have kept that in house. But that was a day in the life of Al, because I was watching this. I was like, man, listen, this dude, you done took it too far, bro. You can't be putting people's business out there like that, man. And so I will say, was that too far for Turk to say what he said, or was he just telling the story?
Too far. And that's funny that you brought this up, man. I promise you that within the last 24 hours, that same story crossed my mind. Because I don't know why, I don't know what triggered the thought, bro, but I promise you, I literally was just in here thinking about that. Like, damn, Twerk did say that him and Wayne caught something. I wonder if it was with the white when he was with the first baby mama. My mind was wandering. But yeah, he definitely went too far. That's something that you can only tell that. You got to tell that story off camera if you're gonna tell that story. That story don't need to be on camera.
But
that's off the record.
The liquor courage got into him, and he couldn't contain his tongue. Like, it was too far, too late. He had too many of them shots. You know, they taking shots for playing quick time with slime, and you know, ain't no telling where he was at when he said that story. It was too late. Listen, thanks to everybody that tuned in today, man. Remember that you can support this the show by sending stars to Facebook, subscribe to the YouTube. The subscribers are going up. And continue to tell your people to subscribe. Follow us on Facebook, IG, and TikTok. We always got merch available for purchase. If you want to rock with the show, we ship long distance. Thank you, my brother, for coming on, having some fun, talking some sports, man.
Sure, thank you for having me.
And we're going to catch y'all next week. We out.
We lock and load, Allen Pants.